guys over the summer and have them in camp. What was that like?
Usually when you bring guys in a little bit later, it's a little difficult. But these guys have experience. Alex Bray, he's played for the last 2 years at Illinois and then at Chattanooga, Leroy Harris. So those guys have experience, and they're smart. They're smart kids. They're mature. And they're able to pick things up easily. So that was what was exciting about them.
What have you seen from Leroy so far in camp?
He's a big kid. You go out there, and when some guys call him Tree, because he's so tall, and he's a very, very mature kid. And you can see his background. His father played 7-8 years in the NFL, so he's got a little bit of that in his background. And very quiet kid, but mature. But when he goes out there, he makes one mistake. He usually only makes it one time, and then he figures it out from there. So excited about him. Well, Alex was in our camp a few years ago, and we liked him there. And, I know he was playing 4I at the last university he was at, and he wanted to play more on the perimeter. And he's a tough kid. He's physical. He plays with a great motor, and those are always attributes you look for at the defensive end position. And same thing, mature, very mature. And you want to talk about a guy with a motor and goes 100 miles an hour. He's that guy, and you can never have enough of those.
How much of an impact has Justice Finkley made with his presence and his leadership?
I keep saying, anytime people ask about Justice, you would think he's been here. He's a fifth-year senior here, not his first coming here in January. Very mature guy, high motor, and he leads by example. He still makes mistakes here and there, but he leads by example, and the way he runs, the way he hustles, and the stuff he does off the field. He's a genuine person. Those were all the things we heard about him, and you're fired up to have older guys like that in your program who work so hard and are talented and is a really good player. So when you're a really good player, you're talented, and you outwork everybody, it's a good recipe, and it's a good lesson for the young guys too, to see that kind of motor, and they know they have to work.
Taiwo, with the spot there with Dean on that side, what are you seeing from Dak and Leroy, like the competition behind that?
It's an extremely competitive group. Guys have to, and I love it. It's very, very competitive. I don't like to compare now and then and past guys, but it's probably the deepest and most competitive group we've had. Every day you have to show up because the guy behind you could be in front of you the next day. And like what we always do, how Coach Lipo runs it is we're ones are going against ones, twos going against ones go against three. We're always mixing it up to see good on good, and those guys are competing. And sometimes you don't know the difference. I feel like we're pretty deep, and guys are pushing each other every day, and it's fun. It's definitely fun for a coach. Yeah.
Has anyone kind of stuck out from the public competition?
We're still working through that. It's still we're 11 practices in. Everyone's getting the work, and we feel like we'll know within the next couple of weeks here. But we've got a few good guys there that we like.
What do you want to see from the person that wins that job?
Say that again.
What do you want to see from the person that wins that job?
Get the ball back to our offense, right? That's the number one thing, right? No turnovers, right? So who can catch the ball, right? Then we'll set up returns and do all things like that. But securing the change of possession is the number one thing. So catching it cleanly, and then if there's something there, we'll get up the field. So you always want a guy that's dynamic, but the most important thing is catching the ball first.
What made you want to bring in another punter when you had an effort?
Yeah, we were always, we're always trying to build depth and competition, right? And we've got some upperclassmen too. We got a bunch of older guys here, so that was part of that. And just the way with the dynamic of college football and how it's changed, we're always recruiting and always trying to improve our roster, and we are best when everyone in every single position is competing, not when guys just show up and think, hey, this is my spot.
Adrian Hawley was the guy that you mentioned during the spring.
Mm-hmm.
Taking a big lead. What's the offseason look like for him, and where do you got now?
Yeah, you always, those guys that come, they're early enrollee guys, you feel like they've been here for a while, but really they're still a freshman, and he had that advantage of getting all those reps. He's still improving. He's still a young guy, right? But one thing he's going to do is he's going to be physical, and he's going to run, and he's still a young guy, and he's working his way through the defense. He's playing on multiple sides, so he's doing a good job. He's a great kid.
Garrett Martin was the guy that got a little bit of praise too. What have you noticed
Yeah, he's a big kid. You know, you would look at his frame, and he doesn't look like a 18-year-old kid. He's big, he's physical. Obviously, there's technical stuff we always got to work on with a new guy. But like I said, with my group, even Garrett, really mature and plays hard and physical and asks a bunch of questions, whether he's working with me or Coach Deneen. He's all over it. So I just have a really mature group, and I'm fired up about that. That's important.
How about the special teams? What have you seen? Like the guys doing the special teams?
Yeah, Lath he's a personality, and he's a very confident guy, very meticulous with what he does, extremely competitive, right? That's the one thing about him. And if he misses, I mean, he wants to see the film. He's going to break it down. He's going to have an answer. So he's an extremely competitive guy, and I'm fired up about him because he's had a lot of success in the past, and he brings a little something to our. He's a very accurate kicker, and we're excited about him.
Talking about Alex a bit earlier, but specifically the size that he brings, what kind of value does that provide?
Yeah, it's versatility. You know, he's played on the inside. He's played some 3. He's played some 4-eye. Now he's playing 5-9 technique, and there's multiple things you can do with a guy like that. That's his size and 260 something. It's been 270, so you can be multiple with what you can do with him. So versatility is huge with a guy like that.
A year ago at this point, we were talking about Dean Miller basically going into his first major action.
Yeah.
What difference has a year made?
It's unbelievable because he's now the elder statesman. He's the vet of the group, which is just how time flies with him, and people are looking up to him and his leadership, and it's impressive the way he kind of took the baton and hey, I'm the most experienced guy on this Kansas team now, and I've got to lead and show the way. And he was learning, you know, when he first got here, guys like Malcolm, he was trying to learn from those type of guys, and it's just funny how time flies. But if you always want to layer things, and with him, he knows this is his role now, and he's been doing a great job of just making sure he's right first, right? Because he still has things to work on, but then helping and bringing the young guys along.
And kickoff return game, do you have guys that you like there?
Yeah, we've got same thing. We're not ready to just throw names out there yet, but we've got a couple guys that we think are pretty dynamic in that aspect, right? So we're pretty fired up about those guys. Yeah.
Taiwo, you got defensive tackles that have so much experience, so many snaps, so many reps. What can that do for your guys? How can you play off of what those vets up there?
Yeah, those guys have played 3-4 years, and they have experience, and they're tough, and they're athletic. And when you have that kind of size and athleticism on the inside, someone's getting doubled somewhere, right? So that's going to free up some of the guys on the edge, and the guys all together as a defense. You have to work in unison, but that helps us, right? Those guys are experienced, and you can even see on the field those guys communicating all the stuff those interior guys do pre-snap, just based on the alignment of the back and where the tight end is and their communication. It feels like back-end guys and linebackers but they've played so much ball, and it helps them. You know, we have Dean, and we've got a lot of other new guys like Dax returning, who we haven't mentioned yet, but Dax has been unbelievable from last year to this year and where he's at too. So that helps. It helps us a lot.
Where has the biggest jump come for Dak?
Just another year in the program, just getting stronger. You talk with Coach Sleeve and his development in the weight room. He got a lot more explosive and stronger, and he's really put in the time. Every day he comes in, every day of camp, he's meeting extra with either myself or Coach Deneen, and he's getting extra work. He'll stay after, he'll get a walkthrough, and he has the physical, and he has always had the physical ability, tools, and the skill set. It's just the mental part of it, just learning. And it is really just experience. And he's probably had over 200 snaps here this fall camp, so he's getting a bunch of reps.
What value has the addition of Coach Deneen provided?
I mean, when you have a legend, right, that's here and knows the area, and he's a sharp guy, and you can see, you know, working with Joe every day, Coach Deneen, his passion, obviously, for this university and knowing it and being a Lawrence kid, his passion for the game and his knowledge of the game, and helps. And he's been through it, and he's what every player on the team who comes here wants. They want to be an All-American, right? They want to have an opportunity at the next level, but he did it the right way. So they can learn firsthand some of those things from him. And he brings different things that he's been around, and it's been fun because we've been implementing both things, and I think it's helping the guys a lot.
The overall depth and competition on the roster, how does that help you out on coverage units and different things like depth.
When you have depth and when guys are fighting for spots, they know, hey, I may not be a starter, but I can play 25 snaps on special teams and kickoff coverage, punt return, punt coverage, all those things. We've got a lot of depth, and we're able to play. You want your best players to play on special teams, and when we're having all these battles at safety, at wide receiver, because we have a lot of new faces at running back, all these positions, it helps our depth on special teams, and we can throw guys out there and see what they're capable of doing.